Hey guys, I wanted to make a video on how to build wealth out of nothing. This actually started out as a video to explain debt service coverage ratio so people understand the key metrics used by bank underwriters to determine max loan values. That is a metric used in conjunction with the commonly known loan to value. But I felt like I had to rewind and kind of explain the whole premise, why this is important, why the refinance process and understanding it is important. This is not a new strategy. I didn't come up with it. This also goes by the term BRRRR, which is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. Commonly used on the website. I'm sure if you have researched anything on real estate, you've run into BRRRR. It was a great resource for me to get started. So I highly recommend those guys. So here we go. The number one rule to real estate, if you're going to be an investor, is you must buy at a substantial discount and fix up on a budget. Your all-in budget must be less than the bank's loan to value limits. And the reason to do that is to keep it under those limits is so that you don't have your money in the deal. So a quick example is, let's say you buy a property and after you renovate it and get it ready, it's beautiful, it's going to be worth $100,000. The max loan that you're going to get on that is for an investment property is $80,000. So that's on an 80% loan to value. Most banks operate on that 80% LTV. Post-COVID, it's around 75%. For example purposes, we're going to stick with the 80% loan to value. So if you buy that thing for $40,000, you'll have roughly $5,000 in soft costs and holding costs. Your repair budget, with those numbers in mind, can be up to $35,000 to accomplish not having any money in the deal. If you end up going over budget and put $40,000 into repairs, you're going to be all in at $85,000. So that means you'll now need to leave $5,000 in that deal. And on a one deal basis, that's fine. That's great. That means you now own an asset that has $20,000 equity, which is the difference between the appraised value and the loan amount, which is really good for most people. If you're just doing onesie twosies, that strategy can work for you. But if you really want to scale, you need to look at your savings account. So how many of those deals can you do before you run out of money? Unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions, you will run out of money quickly. It's an expensive game. So the not so secret is to make sure your numbers are below 80% and preferably way below, or at least below 75%. I'll show you why. So I want to walk you through a real life example. This is the house that really smacked me in the face and got me super excited about buying real estate for rental properties. So I was lucky enough to work with a seller. He was from New York and he had a house in Garfield. This was before it was fashionable to buy in Garfield. This was definitely on the front end. As you can see, I purchased this for $27,500. I borrowed $75,000. So I had zero money into this from the onset of this project. I did, however, go $20,000 over budget. So this was money that I had to put into the deal. So after all was said and done with my loan and the money I had in, I was all in for $95,000. So I got it rented for $1,500 a month, went to my bank and I said, I want a loan on this for $100,000 because my goal was to walk away with a check for $5,000 after paying off my lender and paying myself back for the overages that I had into the deal. My banker called me after the appraisal and said, are you sitting down? I said, oh crap, we didn't appraise. Well, Garfield's still too early. I was surprised. The thing appraised for $215,000. So I said, well, what does that mean? This is the first time I encountered that. And she said, well, what do you want to take out on it? So we agreed on a loan amount, as you can see down here, for $118,000. So I actually walked away with a check, you can see here, for $38,000 $675.10. That means I was able to pay my lender back. You can see almost $77,000 here. So that was his loan plus some interest that I owed him there. The loan amount's 118, and my proceeds check was nearly $39,000. I told you I had $95,000 in the deal, so the difference between 118 and 95 is 23,000. So I had a tax-free profit. That's what we call it, of $23,000. That was the tax-free profit. Why is that a tax-free profit? Because it's not actually a profit. We didn't really sell anything. It's a liability. That 23,000 is just basically equity that I was able to access early. So this is not common, but this is ultimately the goal. This is the thing I'm trying to do on every deal whenever I buy a rental property and refinance out with a bank. So why not go for 80% of the appraised value, which was $215,000. So the bank is going to make sure that you can cash flow this puppy. I wanted to cash flow. This is very early on in my career, so I was very conservative with numbers. So I told you I was renting this out for $1,500 a month, and I think my mortgage on it's somewhere in the $750 or $775 range. So this thing cash flows. I was able to walk away with $23,000. This thing was really I call it a home run, and maybe it's a triple, but this thing was awesome, and this really hooked me. When I did this deal, like I said, a light bulb went off, and this is the strategy that I've been using since then for about 7 years now. So this is how I own 60 rental units at the present, and this is how I will eclipse 100 rental units within the next year. And I'm hoping I'm well beyond that, but conservatively, I will be over 100 rental units within the next year. This is not easy. If it were, then I would have 1,000 units and I would be on a beach somewhere. I'm very selective on what I buy, and I have to have that equity in addition to cash flow. It doesn't make sense for me to not have one of those components. I can go down to Sheridan and have a ton of houses that cash flow. I can go to Mount Lebanon and buy houses on the, off-market deals and have equity, but they'll never cash flow because of taxes, and there's just only so much people will pay in rent. So with that being said, this is the strategy that myself and the people I lend to and people all over the country are using to create wealth out of nothing. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, hit me up and be sure to join our DIY property management group on Facebook. DIY property management, especially if you're an owner operator of rental real estate. Hope all is well, and we'll see you next time.